This episode has been brought to you by theproductstorecompany.com. Welcome everybody to What's the 411? This is the place that brings you news, observation, interpretation, and news commentary. Let's get it. Welcome everybody to What's the 411? This is the place that brings you news, observation, interpretation, and news commentary. Let's get it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to What's the 411? Welcome. Excuse me. No C19, so don't get it twisted. So we're going to do this one again because it apparently seems like there were some audio issues. And I think this is very important that we put this news out here. And as being part of the new black media, it's very important that we get these news stories out and let people see from our perspective so we can not only educate and inform the world, we can also educate and inform our own black people. Even the ones who still want to coon out, they still got to get on that info as well. Be sure to also listen to us on podcast listening platforms, the ones you are seeing at the bottom of the screen. We are on Anchor, Breaker, Google Podcast, Overcast, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, and Spotify. But we are also on many others. So these are just a few to name, but we are on many other podcast listening platforms around the globe. There are people who listen to us in different countries, and I definitely appreciate y'all, and I appreciate y'all looking out for us, for listening to What's the 411. And so with that being said, man, we're going to get started on this news story. And hopefully the audio is a lot better right now and you guys can hear. So we're going to get started. All right. As you guys see, what we're going to be covering today is the Kendrick Johnson case, the Clayton Looney. We'll let you know what he's about, BLM, as well as some threats being made to some of the HBCUs. Okay. All right. So let's see here. Where we going to get started? Let's get started with this guy right here. This guy right here, Clayton Looney. All right. Let me see here. I don't have the video prepared for you guys. Let me see if I can pull it up though. I might be able to pull this up. Let me see here real quick. Stand by for a sec. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Let's see right here. Let's pull it up real quick here. There we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you can hear me, and the video's loading up right now. This guy, Clayton Looney, was going around and, well, not going around, but as you see on the picture here, it said that this is his daughter, who is half black, half white. I'm kind of thinking it's his granddaughter, but I've been reading a few pieces of information saying that this is apparently his daughter, who is biracial. And he has something real interesting to say to his own daughter. So y'all take a listen.
Hi, beautiful. Let me get the bottle. Hi, beautiful. Hi. Hey, what's up, Gooey? What's up? What's up, my little smoking nigga?
Okay, I'll play it one more time and see if you guys caught it. Let's go.
Hi, beautiful. Let me get... Hi. Hi, beautiful. Hi. Hey, what's up, Gooey? What's up? What's up, my little smoking nigga?
Okay, looks like he said this. He said my sound like he said my English little N. All right, and like we've told you guys before, man, you need to be careful of the particular ethnic groups of people you tend to want to marry or date, because lately there's been a lot of suspicious stuff going on with some people of other races and people hooking up, and some weird stuff is happening to the other group. If you could read in between the lines of what I'm saying. But yeah, this dude right here is real shaky. Let me see here. Let me find something real quick. Hopefully this will pull up, ladies and gents. And let's see. All right. Just real quick, I'm going to take a look at this. All right, there we go. And excuse me. What it's looking like here is it's saying Clayton Looney, who is a professor at the University of Montana, is facing backlash after using the N-word on a Ring Door Cam video to refer to a black child. The video was uploaded by looks like official ARONCC. I guess it's this person's Twitter handle, who claims the child is Clayton Looney's daughter. The Twitter user also started a thread containing alleged screenshots of Clayton Looney being racist towards Muslim people and African Americans. How come I'm not surprised? All right. Let's see here. Get this in a little bit closer. Excuse me. According to the Daily Montanan, the University of Montana deemed the racial discrimination allegations against Clayton Looney to be, quote, I'll put myself saying quotes, they are looking at the situation to be outside the scope of the workplace. So what that seems to be saying is that the school that he works at, this university, they're not worried about that. They're not considering anything in regards to that. This man, I'm sure they have some black students at this university, but they're looking at it as, well, this is a scope outside of the school, so we're not worried and being bothered by this. So there you go on that. That lets you know what the school is about. Okay. So you guys think about that for a second and consider that the school ain't really giving a damn. Right. So yeah, you guys need to be a little bit more careful on who you choose as dating partners. Because like I said, it was also I think the girl in Connecticut end up mysteriously becoming deceased. I'll put it in that way. And she apparently went to some Bumble. I don't know if it was an app. I don't know if Bumble is an app or a website or both. You can go on either one and meets up with this white guy. And also all of a sudden she's laid out on the bed with blood all over the place. And I think in the beginning, the guy who she was supposed to be dating, this white guy, was making some mention of blood coming out her nose, but there was blood in the middle of the bed. So how does blood come out your nose and spread out that heavily in the middle of the bed? All right. So you guys need to be more careful about who you choosing to get with, because people are showing up dead and people calling their little kids the N-word. And if it's not their kid, it's a grandchild. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just going to leave it at that. All right. Well, next we're going to deal with Kendrick Johnson. All right. This Kendrick Johnson case has been going on for some years. It was suspected that some kids of an FBI agent had something to do with Kendrick's death. And it looks like they're trying to close the case once again and say something different here. Right. And so I want y'all to take a look at this picture for those who are watching us. All right. And for those who are listening to the show, I'm just going to give you a brief explanation of what we're looking at on this photo here. Because we got a picture of Kendrick Johnson, just a photo of him, his face, from Photoshop from the neck up to his face. And then on right next to that is him rolled up in a gym mat very tightly. All right. And as we're going to get ready to read here in a minute or two or less, is that they're trying to say that this was accidental. And my question is, when you say accidental, is it accidental that are you saying he actually accidentally did this to himself, rolled himself up super tight, real nice and even? The way the picture looks, it looks pretty even and nicely wrapped. Or are you saying somebody done that to him and they accidentally done it? And so you're not going to charge them. You're going to say it was just accidentally done. All right. So let's pull this one up real quick here. Make sure we got it right. Okay. And so here we go. The Valdosta, Georgia, a huge reward is being offered in the case of Kendrick Johnson, according to the Lowndes County Sheriff's Office. Sheriff Ashley Polk said that after the 16-page synopsis of the case claiming no foul play was found, he has been called a liar. Excuse me. And the parents also continue to state that Johnson was murdered. Sheriff Polk said because of those statements, he is offering a reward of $1.5 million of his own money to anyone who comes forward with information that results in the arrest and conviction of a person for the alleged murder of Johnson at Lowndes High School. In other words, it looks like they're trying to say they don't even have any suspects. But yeah. Anyway, the sheriff's office said anyone who provides information will be required to do so in a contact interrogation at the Lowndes County Sheriff's Office. He also urged anyone, including the family, to add to this reward if they choose. Okay. Interesting. Let me go back here. So my understanding is that they making it, again, like I said, I had the questions for that. They're putting it as accidental. No suspects at this time. And this sheriff guy is offering his own money, putting his own money up because of the family saying they just don't believe that it's something accidental. They believe he was murdered. And so now the sheriff wants to make himself look good and say, hey, look, I put my own money up, or I put $1.5 million, and anybody that comes up with some information, they have to be interrogated in order for them. And if it leads to an arrest, they can get this money. Right? That's how it's going to go down. And again, I say, for those listening and for those watching, Look at the picture. Kendrick Johnson is rolled up, looks like in a neat and real tight, well, his body is just tightly in there. All right. And yeah. Did he do that to himself? How can you do that on a big gym mat? Just roll yourself up that tight and even. That's real suspect to me. Real suspect. All right, so we'll see how this goes. We'll try to keep an eye on this case. And we'll try to find out what's going on with the Clayton Looney guy. Last name kind of fits him, Looney. A real loon. So we'll keep up with these stories and see what happens, if there's any follow-up taking place with these stories here. All right. So let's go on with the HBCUs. And they've been getting a lot of threats lately here, as you guys can see on the screen, what type of threats has been going on. And so it's kind of interesting because I think a few weeks back, 2 to 3 weeks ago, they had similar threats. I don't think it was the same colleges, the same HBCUs, but there were other HBCUs, and some of them might have been the same. But they received some threats. The same threats you guys are watching on the screen. Starts with a B. All right. I'm just going to say drop the bomb. All right. So y'all get it. Because we don't know how YouTube's getting down. They already shadow banning the channel. They don't want you guys to get information. They don't want information to go out. It seems like there's something wrong with really waking up the people, according to these social media apps. But we're going to still try to give it to you guys raw and uncut and as real and honest as possible. All right. So the HBCUs has been getting some threats in the last couple of days or so. And I think I remember doing some research and finding out this also happened about 2 weeks ago. And, recently they had the Ahmaud Arbery case. And that was something else. That's another news story in itself. But what's been happening is whether it's police, white police officers or white citizens, they're starting to go to jail. And, white supremacists take that as an L, as a loss. So whenever they taking these losses, they do things like this. Start threatening black schools, black people, beating up black children, killing black women, shooting unarmed black men. Right? These are the type of things that go on when they take those losses. And so here we have a situation at the HBCUs that we're going to take a look at right now. All right. And so at least 6 HBCUs canceled classes or went into lockdown after receiving threats of a bomb. All right. We'll just put it like that. Let's see what they're saying. Okay. All right. Howard University in Washington, D.C. is one of at least 6 historically black colleges and universities that received bomb threats on Monday. Howard University in Washington, D.C. is one of at least 6 historically black colleges and universities that received that threat. All right. A number of black colleges and universities, HBCUs across the U.S., went into lockdown and canceled classes Monday after receiving those threats. By early afternoon Eastern time, most of them had issued all clears and lifted lockdown orders. At least 6 HBCUs, Albany State University, Bethune-Cookman University, Bowie State University, Delaware State University, Howard University, and Southern University and A&M College received threats, according to spokespeople, statements, and social media post. Federal law enforcement is also involved. The FBI is aware of the series of bomb threats around the country, and they are working with law enforcement partners to address the potential threats, the Bureau said in a statement. As always, we look to remind members of the public that if they observe anything suspicious, to report it to law enforcement immediately. Washington, D.C.'s Metropolitan Police Department and Howard University's police force issued an all clear for the campus at 6:22 a.m. following a bomb threat made about 2 hours earlier, according to the university spokesperson. Carlos Holmes, the spokesperson for Delaware State University, said police had completed their search of the entire campus by early afternoon and hadn't found a bomb. Bethune-Cookman University and Southern University and A&M College both went into lockdown, and Southern also canceling classes. Bethune-Cookman later lifted its lockdown, and Southern issued an all clear. Albany State University closed its campus and postponed classes and operations until further notice. Bowie State University said its campus was also closed, but that students would attend classes online and employees would work virtually. It lifted its shelter in place order by early afternoon. All right. There we go. Let me just see something here. You guys stand by a second here. All right, so that's it on that news. All right. That's it on that. So again, we have a lot of threats going on. And here's some of the HBCUs. That's one of them. I think that's Southern. Then you got Howard University. And I forget which one this is here. But that's one of the universities there. Okay. And so, like I said, there's been people taking a lot of L's. And there's certain groups of people that don't like it. So it seems like, it's kind of coincidental that these things are happening after people are taking these L's in these court cases, having to go to jail and serve some time, right? Very, very, very interesting. Okay, so let's take a look at now Black Lives Matter. If you don't know, their organization was suspected of hoarding a lot of money and not really doing things for the Black people here in America. They was just using their deaths and these cases just to gather up some money. And now this is something also to learn from. If anything else pops off in the future, be careful of these groups who are also starting to call themselves advocating for any Black trauma or Black injustice or Black disrespect. And they want to start an organization and gather money. You guys better seriously start looking at them closely. All right. Look at them very, very closely before you decide to give them some financial support, because y'all know about Patrice Cullors. She supposedly left or got ran out when the money started looking funny, right? So let's take a look at this real quick before we get out of here. All right. Let's take a look, see what's going on. Okay. Black Lives Matter transferred millions to Canadian charity run by the wife of co-founder Patrice Cullors. Now that should be Patrice Cullors on the top. There's two photos for those who are listening to us. Again, we appreciate you guys listening to our show on the podcast listening platforms. And what we're looking at is a picture here of looks like Patrice Cullors and her wife. I think her wife is named Janae. And again, The headline reads, Black Lives Matter transferred millions to Canadian charity run by the wife of co-founder Patrisse Cullors to buy Toronto mansion, now get this, formerly owned by the Communist Party. I guess they got the Communist Party of Toronto, right? Ain't that something? Black Lives Matter Canada, in the summer of 2021, purchased a 3-story Victorian mansion in Toronto to turn into a 10,000 square foot art center and meeting place. Key words here, art center and meeting place. The $6.3 million mansion was bought by M4BJ, what a name, a Toronto-based nonprofit set up by Janae Khan, who is the wife of Black Lives Matter co-founder Patrisse Cullors. On Saturday, the New York Post reported that the funds for the art center named Wild Seed were provided by Black Lives Matter Global Network. Cullors was executive director of the group until she resigned in May 2021 amid scrutiny of her $3.2 million property empire. On Thursday, the Washington Examiner reported that no one seemed to know who was currently running Black Lives Matter or managing the group's $60 million funds. Okay. Black Lives Matter transferred millions of dollars to a Canadian charity run by the wife of Patrisse Cullors, founder or co-founder, according to a report which was used to buy a $6.3 million Toronto mansion to house an art center. News of the transfer of money to Canadian group has raised further questions about transparency and accountability within Black Lives Matter. Coming days after auditors said an inquiry into the handling of Black Lives Matter's $60 million war chest was necessary, and less than a year after Cullors was forced to stand down, and questions about her own property empire. Black Lives Matter Canada announced in July 2021 that they had recently purchased a 3-story Victorian mansion in the Baldwin Village area of Toronto, close to downtown. The imposing red brick house, which you guys can see in the picture there, was previously the headquarters of the Communist Party. On Saturday, the New York Post reported that the funds to purchase the property came from Black Lives Matter and were transferred from the Global Network to M4BJ, a Toronto-based nonprofit set up by Janae Khan and other Canadian activists. So it went from the Black Lives Matter Global Network. They transferred the funds over to the M4BJ. Now, who's in charge of transferring the money? Because there's 3 women in charge. That's all the Black Lives Matter member or founders. Patrisse Cullors is one of them, and I forget the 2 other ladies. So which one of them okayed that? Who's really in charge and who okayed that? And Tamir Rice's mother still didn't get money from Black Lives Matter? Interesting. All right, so that's all I'm going to read, okay? But I'll just kind of scroll through a little bit and get another look at what's going on here. All right, they're showing Janae Khan, Patrisse Cullors' wife. There's Janae Khan again. So you guys can get a look. That's Patrisse Cullors. And I believe these are the founders. There we go. We got Cullors, Garza. Hey, I remember Garza's last name. That's right. And Tameti. These are the 3 women who are the founders of the Black Lives Matter Global Network. And so which one of them approved, okay, for that money to go over to the Canadian nonprofit M4BJ? I still say that BJ part is real kind of hilarious though. And so who okayed that? And why are they funding all these things here? But you had so many people's children and adults died in America, and did any money go to them? So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. It's the picture of all 3. Colors, Garza, and Temeti. I believe that's their last names. All right. And there go some more pictures there. Black Lives Matter has grown into a global organization. And this was protesters seen in Leeds, England on June 21, 2020. All right. So as they say, it's global, right? Yeah, global organization. So it ain't no telling if they collected money from other countries, and they're gonna make somebody's pockets gonna get fat. All right. So there we go, man. There goes Patrisse Cullors again, and seen in 2015 speaking at Harvard Law School. Interesting. Black Lives Matter protesters are seen in August 2020 in Portland, Oregon. All right. Cullors bought this house in South Los Angeles, one of 4 that she owns. Okay. And I think she was trying to front off and say that she has some movie deals or something like that, and claiming that's where she's got the money from. But I have not yet seen any movies coming out or any documentaries or any TV shows where it has Patrisse Cullors' name on it. But yet she claims, she got these deals going on, and that's where she's been getting paid because of these deals. And that's how she was buying the houses, because of the money from these deals from, I guess, Hollywood, and not from the war chest of the Black Lives Matter global network. This is another thing that needs to be followed up on and see what's really going on. Because like I said, I still hadn't seen anything in regards to Cullors, anything coming out with her name on it. Any films, movies, TV shows, commercials, something. Nothing at all. So yeah, that's something to be looked at and watched. The activist also bought a home in Conyers, Georgia. I do remember that. Yeah, I do remember that. So these are the photos of her other house, or houses. Wow. And who is this lady here? I don't know who this lady is. Let's see here. Themba and Bandele said they did not know who was now running the Black Lives Matter. So apparently nobody knows who's running Black Lives Matter now, the organization. So is that the game? You kind of disappear and make the money disappear too? Interesting. So there seems to be that dynamic as well, where nobody seems to know know who's running the Black Lives Matter anymore. And I don't know if that means the 3 that I guess who are the core founders, and who would be the ones who would be looked at as the ones running it. Did they all just disappear all of a sudden? And the money disappeared with them? Right? Yeah, something to be looked at. Something to be looked at. It's real suspicious. All right, so now we have Makani Thembe and you got Monifa Bandele were announced as directors of BLM in May of 2021, but never agreed terms and never took the job. So they ain't take the job. They don't know who it is. So I guess this lady here is Themba. And no, they're just saying this lady's number. Well, this lady might be Monifa Bandele, and the other lady here is Makani Themba, this lady here. Yeah, Makani Themba and Monifa Bandele. So I guess those were supposed to be the women that they supposedly gave the power to be over Black Lives Matter. But they saying, they couldn't agree to the terms for being the leaders of Black Lives Matter Global Network, and they never took the job. That's what they're claiming. And so nobody knows who's running the organization now. Black Lives Matter protests tussle with police in Washington, D.C. That was in August 2020. All right, so it's real interesting. The plot thickens. The plot really, really thickens. So yeah, some real suspicious stuff going on. Some real suspicious things going on here with Black Lives Matter, man. It's crazy. It is real crazy. Makes no sense at all. Well, I definitely appreciate you guys, man, for checking us out. I hope the audio's good. I have to check back later. Hopefully the audio went through this time. Like I said, it seems interesting when you're trying to put out some real stuff and trying to inform and educate people that all of a sudden funny things happen to the video or the audio or both, or people got issues with the information. And so with that being said, I will be putting links in the description in a little bit where just in case things happen to where they have a tendency to want to ban people or remove their channels without any real good reason, and you guys want to be updated on where we might be broadcasting next, and even if you're still here on this platform and other social media platforms, you still might want to be informed of what's going to be coming up next and things that we're doing in the future. Definitely go to the description of this video. I'll be adding that in here in a little while, where you guys can follow us, add your email, and subscribe to us, and we'll give you updates on what's going on. And we also have a membership as well, because there's censorship going on, which I thought that wasn't a thing in the US, but apparently I guess that's a legal thing. Are you legally allowed to censor people and ban things because what you don't agree with? But we do have a membership, a news membership, exclusive membership, where we report on news that social media and the mainstream media, that social media bans or censors and the mainstream media will not report on. And we're going heavily on a particular topic covering news. So you guys might want to get on with that membership and get some news behind the scenes that they're not going to tell you out here publicly. All right. So with that being said, I appreciate y'all, man, for supporting us at What's the 411, aka WT4 News. Be sure to tell other people about us, have them subscribe. We need more subscribers, and we'll get there. They're probably shadow banning that as well. I know when we go live, I know in the past I kind of found out that there's supposed to, those who are subscribers supposed to get notified the moment you go live, and every now and then they'll post it like I can be 15 minutes in, and then they'll post that you live, so you'd be missing the beginning, although you could play back the video. But some people want to watch you live from the beginning, and so that dynamic is going on as well. And yeah, so once again, I appreciate y'all. Be sure to continue watching us, because we got more news stories coming up, more observation of the news, more interpretation, and more commentary from a black first, black grassroots, foundational black American perspective. All right. So with that being said, I appreciate y'all, and I'm out of here. Peace. Sit down and brainstorm potential things that can happen. All right, potential situations that can occur. I'm giving you a list here of possible things that can happen. You got fires, you have flash floods, home invasions, hailstorms, hurricanes. A pipe might burst in your house because it's real cold in the winter at that time. It might burst in the summer. All right, just never know. Tornadoes, blizzards, snow, mudslides, earthquakes, etc. All right. To prepare yourself for potential emergencies, take the free course, Simple Emergency Planning in 4 Easy Steps. Did I mention free? The link is in the description. Safe House is a location other than your primary residence that you can go to whenever you need assistance or protection from any possible criminal or violent encounters. The first thing you want to start off with, though, is look for your fire departments, your police departments, your EMS stations. Look for that first, and then look for your 24-hour locations. You want to look at gas stations, gyms that are open up for 24 hours. You want to look at hotels, stores like Walmart, things of that nature. That way, if something happens, an emergency occurs, you already know where they at. Go right to them. If you want to learn more on how to protect yourself, get the course, How to Be Your Own VIP Protection Specialist. The link is in the description. This episode has been brought to you by theproductstorecompany.com. Welcome everybody to What's the 411? This is the place that brings you news, observation, interpretation, and news commentary. Let's get it.